Bill Panoff here for Porthole Cruise Magazine and Cruise Control, and we're very honored to have our friend and colleague in the industry, Harry Sommer, the president and CEO of Norwegian Cruise Line. Harry, how are you?
I'm doing great, Bill, and it's always great seeing you, and thank you for having me this morning.
It's nice to see you. I forgot what you look like because we see each other quite frequently, and it's been, during this pandemic, we've been obviously not seeing one another, so I'm glad you're keeping well.
Thank you, Bill. At least seeing you reminds me of the days, the great events we shared together, some inaugurals and other things. So it gives me great optimism for the future.
And there'll be many more of those before you know it. I just wanted to go over a few things that are happening in the industry. I know we reported recently on the recent initiatives, the Health Sail Panel with Royal Caribbean, which is amazing how you guys put that together. How did that initiative begin, and how did you choose the panelists or the experts for that panel?
It's a great question, Bill. I gotta say, even going back to early to mid-February, while we were still in operations, it was clear to us that we needed to seriously look at our protocols. Now, we've always had great protocols. Safety is new to us. The cruise ships, partially due to regulation, partially due to our own initiatives, we've always had much stricter protocols than, say, hotels and resorts in the world. So when we saw this coming in mid-February, we expanded even further through extended health screening, temperature checks, enhanced onboard medical programs and the like, and we're already going in that direction. Of course, when we ceased operations in mid-May, we shifted, at least temporarily, towards full focus on getting our guests and crew home, which has gone, the guests went really quickly, the crew a little slower than we like, but we're now there. The crew is 99% home. We're thrilled for that. And we, after spending a little time on that, we immediately turned, I'd say in early April, to re-looking at these protocols. What would it take for us to have a truly healthy environment? Our goal being nothing short of cruising being the safest vacation out there. That's our goal.
Sure.
So, we started a little work internally, and it quickly became apparent to us that as much wonderful work as we can do internally, this was sort of a new and novel type of pandemic out there, and it was important for us to engage with outside experts. So we reached out to a lot of experts, and we wanted to get people from a broad range of disciplines, from epidemiologists to infectious disease experts, to logistics experts, to testing experts, and everything in between, and wanted to find a way to do this in a more formal and a constructive fashion. So we reached out to Dr. Gottlieb. We had seen him do a lot of good work. He's been a regular guest commentator and seemed to be very articulate and knowledgeable and non-political. Someone that this isn't a Republican disease. It's not a Democratic disease. It's a disease, and we want to remove politics from this because we should. And he really seemed to fit the bill. Interestingly enough, Royal Caribbean also had approached him, and Richard and Frank, Frank Del Rio, our CEO, and Richard Fain, their CEO. They talk regularly, both participating on the executive board of CLIA. And as we both reached out to Richard, Scott Gottlieb, we said, hey, listen, why don't we see if we can join forces? We compete in the marketplace, but we don't compete in health and safety. Anything that we do on the health and safety side, we want to make available to the entire industry. And we thought if we could join forces together, man, could we put together something powerful? And I think the panel we put together, and I won't go through all of it, you guys, it's on our website, is a really powerful group of distinguished individuals. These guys have now been working fairly regularly since late June. So although we didn't announce it till a few weeks ago, they'd already been working, actually since mid-June. They'd already been working on it for about a month when we made the announcement. And the work that they're coming out with is really cutting edge, especially compared to what you see in the airline industry, what you see in the hotel industry. And don't get me wrong, the airlines and hotels have definitely made inroads, but what we're looking to do in the cruise industry is evolutionary from there. Much higher standard, again, with our goal of making cruises the safest possible vacation.
Between the Health Sail Panel and Carnival's Global Scientific Summit, the cruise industry has really come together to find health and safety solutions, which is remarkable. Once cruising resumes, do you feel cruising will be one of the safest travel options out there?
Absolutely, 100%. I've gone on record as saying that I won't open cruising until I'm comfortable taking my wife and 3 children and brother, my family on board. And I very much plan to be on the very first cruise when NCL begins operations, hopefully soon. So we are going to make this front and center. This is going to be something that I can look you in the eye, look every guest in the eye, and be proud. You know, we don't want a repeat of what happened in March. You know, we are going to go in with very robust protocols. We take this monumentally seriously. We have a history, 53-year history of innovation, of high levels of safety, and we are going to put every tool in our internal efforts to get this right.
Well, I hope I'll be with you when that ship sails. I'd love to be on there for the
Bill,
for the first one when it returns.
I'm happy to invite you, and you can cover this for your listeners and get them comfortable about what we're doing. So Bill, you have a deal.
Count me in. Count me in. Norwegian is said to be adopting the technology, the Muster 2.0, the new electronic muster drill station. How do you anticipate this will impact the cruise guests on Norwegian?
You know, we're still looking at our options. So, you know, we've been granted a license to be able to use this. You know, we're still looking if this is absolutely the best way to go forward. So we haven't publicly committed to doing this. If we don't do this, we'll likely do something like it. But you know, for us, it's just one aspect of the whole cruise experience. You know, how do we do something that involves social distancing? But if we can do something that involves social distancing and makes the experience better for the guest, wow, that's a win-win. So, you know, don't just think about mustering, think about things like embarkation. You know, there are a few points in the cruise that, let's call them pain points. One's embarkation, one's mustering, you know, lining up at the guest services to ask questions. And we look at these spots and say, okay, what can we do to make the experience safer and better for the guests? And we think that this is one of the areas, but not the only area.
Gotcha. It's taken some time to get all the crew home off all your ships, and you've done that famously, and I applaud you on that during this temporary pause. Once the cruise lines have been given the green light and everything is ready to go, how long will it take you to get ramped up and start sailing again?
You know, so great question, Bill. You know, we think that we can staff a ship. You know, once we get to the other side of this and travel restrictions aren't quite what they are today, we don't think it'll take us more than 3 or 4 weeks to get a ship staffed and trained. So, which in the overall scheme of things is not a tremendous amount of time. But also remember that, you know, we've gone on record as saying that when we return to sailing, we don't think that all 17 ships are going to start on day one. So the logistical challenges aren't quite as extreme if you stagger the starting of cruising over a period of time.
Gotcha. Norwegian has been known as one of the best cruise lines for solo travelers, apart from other many categories, which include social areas for solo travelers. With social distancing standards and the new measures in place, what changes can one expect for a solo traveler on Norwegian?
You know, it's a great question, but I'll tell you, Bill, we haven't really gotten down to that level of detail. So, you know, we believe that the existence of our studio solo cabins obviously will be great because it's perfect social distancing. You're by yourself in a cabin, but we haven't really thought through all the interactions in terms of get-togethers and things like that. But we'll certainly share when we get a little bit closer to resumption of operations.
Back in November, during the inaugural of the Encore, you teased a lot of people about the Project Leonardo, a new class of ship that's even bigger and better than the first class. Is it on track to set sail in 2022 still? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
We're really pleased that, you know, despite, you know, the ship's being built in Italy and despite some of the challenges there earlier this year, it looks like it'll broadly be on time. You know, maybe a little bit late, but nothing real serious. The Italian economy is really getting back up to speed. The ship's progressing along nicely. We have a new set of mock-ups that were just delivered to us, you know, last week of a lot of our public spaces and cabins. I'll tell you, Bill, the ship looks beautiful. So, you know, we're doing a little different direction here. A lot of other cruise lines are going bigger. We're going a little bit smaller, which, you know, in hindsight in this world proved to be a good idea. So we're happy for that one. I think we're going to be able to have, you know, better space ratios, higher service levels, you know, new and innovative places. There'll be new restaurants, new activity concepts. Not really broadly sharing details yet, but I'll tell you, one thing I can tell you is we use a completely different decor. Now, I thought the Encore was beautiful. I thought the Joy and Bliss are beautiful. This ship is just off the charts fantastic. We're going to start, revealing some more details in early 21. And Bill, before you ask, we absolutely will invite you to one of the inaugural cruises when she comes out in 22. But she will be by far the nicest ship we've put in the water. We're very proud of her.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing her and sailing on her, obviously. Norwegian has been known to win many numerous awards in various categories, including the Porthole Cruise Magazine Award for the Norwegian Bliss for being the best ocean-going ship in 2019. For anyone who has never sailed on Norwegian, why should they choose Norwegian for their next vacation?
Well, first, Bill, we thank you for all the awards that you've issued from your publication, and we appreciate the great partnership we have with you and your organization. But simply put, to answer your question, is we put our guests first. We believe in providing extraordinary experiences for our guests. So we have an incomparable fleet. I can get that word out. We invest a ton of money to keep the ships fresh. Frank has gone on record as saying that he wants every guest that comes on every one of our ships to think that they're on an inaugural cruise. That's how nice the ship is maintained. We have great Broadway style entertainment. We have world-class dining, tremendous choices of dining options. I think up to 30 dining options on some of our newer ships. We have 300 destinations on 7 continents we go to around the world. We think we have the world's best crew, and we love our guests. We love our guests, and it shows in everything that we do.
Perfect. I can attest to that because I've been on board many times. In closing, what could you tell our Porthole audience? Any closing thoughts about cruising or the future of cruising?
I'll say, we're in this together. We understand it's a little dark period for everyone right now. You all want to get back to the sea, and we can't today, but we're in this together, and we remain tremendously optimistic about the future. We see tremendous pent-up demand. We see good booking volume for cruises in 21 and beyond, which reflects the underlying the underlying optimism that guests have that we're going to come back with a good product. And we really think they're optimistic days ahead. Listen, it's bad. It's a bad period now and many different respects. But I think we can truly look forward to a bright future. Just have to be a little patient, and we get to the other side of this. And I look forward to welcoming our guests back on board the ship in the very near future.
Well, I can tell you from the readers of Porthole Magazine, there's this pent-up demand to get back to sea. They want to start cruising again, so the sooner the better. Harry, it's a pleasure to have you here, and I really appreciate the time for this interview and look forward to seeing you in person and and sailing with you together on one of the ships in the very near future. Bill Panoff here for Cruise Control with Harry Sommer, the CEO and President of Norwegian Cruise Line. Thank you very much, Harry.
Thank you, Bill.